You know, there's been a lot of shaking going on across West Texas recently. Now the Texas Railroad Commission is investigating. One company in Big Spring thinks it has a solution. Fox 24's Mark Thomas spoke with the company CEO and tells us more.
The company called Breakwater Energy Partners says it has a way that could help reduce the number of earthquakes in the Permian Basin. Its CEO tells me it's something they've been doing for a long time now.
The Permian Basin, has a lot of oil. It's had a lot of oil for a long time. It produces about 5 million barrels of oil per day.
The CEO of Breakwater Energy Partners, Jason Gennaro, says his company is doing its part to reduce wastewater injections. His company recycles water.
What a lot of folks don't realize is it's really more of a water basin. There's probably about 3 barrels, on the order of 3 barrels of water produced for every barrel of oil.
After the magnitude 4.5 quake that hit near Stanton in late December, the Texas Railroad Commission immediately called for the stop of injections of water into deep wells. It's an effort to quell the increase in seismicity. Of course, that water needs to go someplace other than back into the ground, and that can create a logistics issue.
They're aggregating water from a number of different produced water systems. We're recycling it, we're storing it, and then we're moving that water to kind of the most efficient place so it can be used.
Gennaro says that when that water is taken from the ground, there's still oil, organics, iron, and a lot of salt. He says it can be up to 10 times saltier than the ocean.
What we do is we take that water and we recycle it up to a spec that it can be reused in completions. We also recycle it up to a spec where we can store it for long periods of time. That gives us more flexibility to kind of use it and transport it, to the appropriate, completion effort.
The company is located in Big Spring.
We have the recycle facility that interconnects to a number of different produced water networks, and these networks tend to interact with their own disposal systems and have a lot of flexibility, so we can serve as on-ramps or off-ramps to those systems.
What makes its model different, according to Gennaro, is that it has a recycle-first strategy. It's interacting with all of its customers on a daily basis to figure out how to keep barrels from going down various disposal networks.
So what we've seen in the Permian Basin is a rise not just in the frequency of earthquakes, but also the intensity of earthquakes. And, clearly the Railroad Commission has identified deep well injection as a primary contributor for kind of this step change that we've seen.
Deep well injection has seen the distribution of billions of barrels of water nonstop for years. That water is then put into deep injectors. It's something the Texas Railroad Commission has spoken out about recently. Gennaro says the earthquakes come from all of that activity.
You create increased pressure and you effectively lubricate these ancient faults, and these ancient faults, clearly have become more active and more intense, over the last 5 years, the last year in particular, and that's triggered a lot of the issues and the concern that you've seen from the general public and from operators and clearly the Railroad Commission.
The Texas Railroad Commission is a storied institution that's been around for more than a century, and it's charged with stewardship of the region that powers the world. That's us here in the Permian Basin. It's also charged with the stewardship of the environment in the state, and when things like seismic activity start to affect populated areas, it says it's time to do something about it. Mark Thomas, Fox 24 News.